Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals On The Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry, and we're continuing our first draft look. You know, the first few weeks are just, let's try and narrow down some of the top prospects that are supposed to be available for the Bengals at pick 10. Hopefully we get to 10 prospects that we absolutely would love to have at pick 10. Because if you only have like 4, if you're right now saying, I want Caleb Downs and I don't care about anything else, because we've done Caleb Downs, Peter Woods so far. And some of the comments on Peter Woods' video were, give me Caleb Downs instead. Fine. Like, that just might be your number one guy. But let's not just zero in on one guy. Because if he gets taken, you don't need your hearts broken. There are going to be 10 good players taken in this draft. Probably going to be 50 good players taken in this draft, right? Even in a poor class. You got to identify them and have a list of good players. You don't want to just, fine, we're going to take whoever. I'm not there yet. I can't give you a name of a player I don't want. Last year's example would be Shemar Stewart. You don't want to just say, fine, we'll take him because he's supposed to go top 12. No, we want to have a list of 10 guys that we'll turn the key on and be happy with at pick 10. And we've only done 2 so far, and I think I take both of those pending. You know, they got to weigh in. They've got to go through the draft process. They got to do athleticism. So now we're going to get the next 2 positions here. Well, 1 player today, but same position this episode and then the next episode. And you're watching this on Tuesday, meaning you've already watched Ruben Bain versus Miami, so you're in the future. So I can't tell you how he played in that game yet. Well, he'll be somebody we're going to watch next. Want to let this game finish out and see if I can get the film for that by that time. If not, maybe we'll jump around a little bit. But this one is on Texas Tech's David Bailey. And he is a very fun player to watch on tape. My first exposure to him was versus Oregon. And I don't have that full game tape, but that was a great game to watch. And maybe I'll see if I can do something to get some of those clips at the end here if you didn't see that game. But instead, with David Bailey, we got to talk about the defensive end position first for the Bengals, and then we'll jump right into the film. So I just want to say, D-end is still extremely important, despite having Myles Murphy and Shemar Stewart. And I know, depending on how you feel about those guys, if you think they're that A1 pass rusher or not, really doesn't matter. They need a third guy still. That third defensive end is a starter for the Bengals and for every defense. That guy's going to play at least 50% of the snaps, the third defensive end. And that's great for what a rookie would come into and expect him to do. And if he plays more than that because he's really freaking good, we would take that, right? And with how much Shemar Stewart was kicking inside and playing defensive tackle at an even higher rate than he did at Texas A&M, the Bengals were moving him inside. That tells you still need that other defensive end. And then we got to see what happens with Trey Hendrickson. I assume he's gone. But if it's Myles Murphy, David Bailey, Ruben Bain, and Shemar Stewart kicking inside, I think I could live with that defensive end room for a year. And then you add a veteran, try and sign a free agent. I've got a bunch of guys that I would like to have as well. So as we're going now, before free agency, we got to be aware of, there's a few guys here that are expected to go top 15 or so. So we're going to watch all 3 of them and see which ones we like. In terms of Bailey, though, his production is great. It's not a Shemar Stewart situation. He had a high pass rush win rate. He collected a lot of sacks, a lot of pressures, transferred from Stanford to Texas A&M, and that's where we're going to jump in. Our first look today is David Bailey, and we got one key that I'm going to get to at the end of why the Bengals may not draft him. So let's watch the film first, and then I'll tell you what is the knock on his profile. David Bailey versus Arizona State. Okay, David Bailey, number 31. He's got the arrow on him. I'll try to circle him. Sometimes his back plate is over his numbers on the backside, so when we're on that view, you probably won't be able to see it. Sometimes it looks like 21. But trust me. Well, don't trust me. I think he's 31. First thing I'm going to point out, because he's got a few plays here before it really kicks in, is his body type. And maybe you can see it there. Maybe if I should go back just a click. And spend a second here talking about his body type. He's very athletic first and foremost, but you can see where he's lacking in terms of power, and it's his lower half. He's kind of skinny in his lower half. I don't know if he's wearing an extra thick chest plate or rib protector, but he's definitely thicker here than he is here. And I think that shows up in the run game at times. He is an, at times, average run defender. So I'll start with that. And he's listed at 6'3", 250. So if you're saying I can get him to 260 and it's probably because of his lower half, I would agree. And then say that's probably where he ends up in the NFL once he gets on the same program for multiple years. But what you're going to see here is he's going to play left side. He's going to play right side. They're going to stand him up a ton. I think he looks better when he's stood up. And again, he's 6'3", 250, so a lot of 3-4 outside linebacker type teams will be looking at him that way and probably value him more. So we'll see how the Bengals value him, despite them playing a lot of 3-4 defenses. If you watch Bengals on the Brain, I show how often they do it, right? It's the people that don't watch the show that don't realize how often the Bengals play this. So I don't think it'd be too crazy for me to project them to draft David Bailey here, given his size, even though they prefer bigger, longer, stronger defensive ends typically. They did have a high grade on Nolan Smith, who went to the Eagles. So they could have been in a position where they would have drafted Nolan Smith. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And there were other guys that I'm forgetting now that were smaller. They really didn't have an issue with drafting. I shouldn't say that. They were ranked behind some of the bigger guys, but they would have drafted them had they been in that scenario. So now we're going to kick him over to the other side here. And I think this is the first time we're going to see him get a chance to rush. He's going to go with a dip around the outside edge. So when you watch Bailey, you're going to see a guy with a good get off. He's on the right side here. The hands, right, he's waiting for that tackle to punch, which he never did. So then he's going to try and dip around the arc here and get to the quarterback that way. And it doesn't really work, right? Ball's batted, and there's a couple other guys on this Texas Tech defense that we should be paying attention to. The linebacker, Evan Rodriguez? Ethan? And then Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle, wears a single digit. I think it's number 2, which we will pay attention to because I think he makes tackle right here. So perfect timing. Lee Hunter, probably a second-round pick. I think that's him there. Yep, see the quick swim move by Hunter. If you weren't paying attention, if you weren't ready for that, if you're still at eyes on Bailey, Bailey doesn't do anything here. Lee Hunter with a quick arm over, tracks down. He's got an odd body. They brought in these odd body guys, and Hunter is that. But he makes plays, and he's effective, so I'd be interested. All right, now we're going to get David Bailey's first sack, half sack maybe, in this game. He's going to go over the left guard here. You see him standing upright. Again, thin, right? You see how thin his thighs and hips are. That'll show up in the run game at times. He's going to go inside, though, and he's going to go against the guard. He's going to give him a little hesitation step and then turn it into power. Bang. Right there, open up that inside shoulder to the quarterback, extends his arms. So for a 6'3" guy, arms look long there. And I think when he lands his moves, his arms look long. I wouldn't be surprised if they were 33-inch or 32 3/4 inch arms, which is good for a 6'3" guy. He's going to get chipped, and then we got a back-to-back sack situation for David Bailey. There are some games, I think Houston and Kansas, he racks up 10-plus pressures and 3-plus sacks in both of those games. This game, I think, is like a 6-pressure, 2-sack game. This might be the second sack here. But watch him as he coils up and then bursts. He's going to have to deal with the tight end. He does that, gets away from him, and then he sizes up as he's kind of coming in sideways against his left tackle here. Going to show one outside step and then the spin. And man, that hand right there, I show it all the time whenever we do spin moves. These guys are getting better and better and better at spin moves. They're probably getting taught by the generation that pulled off the spin move in the late 90s, early 2000s, the Dwight Freeney's in them. And that hand right there is so key to land because it gives you an opportunity to almost propel off of the tackle, off the blocker, and keeps them from getting that other arm around and getting it out in front of you. And Bailey gets to the quarterback really fast. I'm going to go back and give you the full thing in full speed so we can see it in real time. That's a clean, multi-layered win right there for Bailey. Quarterback's going to scramble and go away from Bailey here and lays a beautiful ball down the field. When I first watched this, I was like, what a throw. Bailey's going to end up getting blocked by the tight end, and then it's a Y leak or a Y lead leak. There's nothing for Bailey there for us to talk about. I like the tape when we just get the end zone angle. But I take this time because we do have some other guys to at least pay attention here too. So if you were like Rodriguez at linebacker, I think he's number 10. And I don't know when we'll get to watch linebackers. He's supposed to be like a 3rd or 4th round pick, if I remember correctly, but watch him here. I think he had 5 forced fumbles. I mean, we could use a guy like that. But just if that's the only clip you watch, that's who he is. He's a very sound, fundamental player. I wonder if he is an elite athlete, and we'll see. So just guys if you hear their names later, like Lee Hunter, then you know who there is. And I think they've got another linebacker coming down the pipe. I think they may have a safety. So you can see these guys, they'll make plays and draw your attention away from Bailey. But let's get back on Bailey now, as he's going to try and run the arc and going to fall on the ground. He's going to get pancaked by the right tackle. So we got a play to talk about here on the right side. You see, he never really, did you see that reach there? I'd love to pause it at the right time. See if I can get it right this time. But you'll see as he reaches for the tackle, it's a very similar situation to what happened earlier when he's reaching for him and he can't get there. So this is when you wonder if he does have the length, because there is a necessary requirement for length here. And I think his arms look long, so I wouldn't be shocked if he did. But right there, you see, he wanted to lean in so that he can come off with a move off of that. But when it's not there, you can get yourself in trouble. It's good patience by the right tackle to say, like, I'm not going to shoot my arms at you. I'm going to be patient, let you get to me, and I'm going to do something. So you see with Bailey there, could probably be a little bit more patient, be aware of the space between he and the tackle, and play it accordingly. Play action, reading the run for Bailey, and then we got a deep ball with a penalty. So nothing for us here to talk about. We really haven't seen him against the run too much. Arizona State not running it. But he's got to read that run multiple times there. This is one thing I saw too. Watch 31 here. I think there's like, okay, he's reading the run, checks both sides. All right, it's not there. Can I get into the quarterback's passing lane? He's only got 2 batted balls in his career. And I think both of them were in the final game versus Oregon, if I remember correctly. So, not really great at that. Here he is against the run now. Does a good job setting the edge, stringing it out, keeping that offensive tackle at bay. Watch him, he's inside just a bit here. Right, I don't know if we're heavy. We are. So it's the tackle. He's straight up head up on the tackle because it looks like we got an extra offensive lineman unless it's a tight end. He's huge. So watch Bailey here. Do a good job with his arms. Gets to the outside. Keeps him at bay there. Like, that's a sign of good arm length as well. So I'm interested in the way he'll test. Or measure, I should say, in this scenario. Strings it out. Gets his offhand again, just the way he had that sack earlier to start the game. That offhand, having that tackle radius while still being blocked is important. I think Shemar Stewart struggles with that big time. I think Bailey is very good at it. Kind of a weird snap there. I don't know if we got an offsides or a false start, but it looks like they let it go. See, he tries to bat that one. You can see the burst off the line there, right? I mean, Myles Murphy, that's one of his strengths. It probably is his strength. But I think for Bailey, it is as well. He's very deliberate and bursty when he changes direction. Good play by the safety there, getting over the top and almost making a play on it, huh? But you can see the athleticism out of Bailey when he moves, right? Right there, just even that dip inside. Very Trey Hendrickson-esque. Nice play by the safety. He didn't catch it, though. But good range, good high pointing. Short yardage situation. Run is a jet sweep going away from, and a good tackle going away from Bailey. That's the safety again. That's 5 again. Someone find out who that is if he's a draft eligible prospect. That's how we saw Matt Lee the one time. He stole our attention while we were watching Braden Fisk. Let's watch 5 here, actually. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, find out who that is for me. I love the comments when you guys help me out. Like Elijah Cansey last week on that video, and I just couldn't remember. There's Bailey with potential. It's a win. Probably not a pressure, but that's definitely a pass rush win for him. And it looks like just getting off the line. You see him here? All right, let me make sure I circle him as we've gotten a little distracted here a bit watching the other players. Now let's watch Bailey here. Get off the line. Absorb that contact. You see him bend, but it really didn't affect him. Knocks that outside hand down. Now he's running that arc till the running back picks him up. He reminds me a lot of Trey Hendrickson when I watch him. Trey is potentially 15 pounds heavier, so we'll see. But Trey's got very short arms as well for his size. Run is away from Bailey here, but still even on the backside of plays, I feel like I really like him versus the run because he is hard to block, hard to get a hand on. He does flow pretty well with plays. That Oregon game was crazy in terms of run defense and hustle and running behind plays. Spin move again. See, like these are signs of athleticism without, I don't want to call that a pass rush win. The ball is out so quickly. He's on the left side here. But you can see how compact and tight he is on this spin. Like that is very little wasted movement. He's not out of control, right? There's not a lot of steps to regain his balance or anything like that. That is a clean, tight spin move win. And you want that, right? You're looking for those things. Again, just that dip inside is just too much, and that's a tight end. So, I mean, we're talking about an athletic, potentially a more athletic player than the tackle here. Watch Bailey set up outside, dip inside until he gets picked up by the left tackle. That looks, I mean, the movement skills are evident, right? I think that's a thing people struggle with sometimes in the comments is saying, oh, this is against a bad team or this is against a bad player. Again, we are putting the microscope on that player, watching him do and stand out in his way. And a lot of that is your movement skills and ability as an athlete. Because when you watch the NFL, despite it being all of the best players, sometimes you're beating up on a bad left tackle. Sometimes you're beating up on a bad right tackle, or they're blocking you with a tight end. I mean, it happens. Happens pretty frequently. We need guys that can still win in those situations against bad players. Again, they're blocking him with a tight end there. The tight end looks no match to even affect him in any way. He's inside here, straight up on the tackle. Going to have to deal with that double team as the quarterback rolls out and takes a hit. Wide open player, though. That ball is hanging. There's a rainbow shot. It's a little Russell Wilson ball, moon ball. Yeah, you can see Bailey just dealing with multiple players there. Goal line scenario, or close to it. They're right at the 4, so I like to see if he can get physical. The play went away from him, so he just came around the backside and then kind of pulled up, didn't really dive in there. Not that you need him to. You don't want a guys pushing from the backside. That's how you end up getting into the pile. All right, he's got to go wide here because of the jet action to potentially defend that. He does his job there. Does everybody else? Yes, they do. And we're looking at a potential third down. That's an uncatchable ball there. Yep, 3rd and 7. From the 7? Did they lose yards here? Must have been something I didn't see. He's just spying the quarterback on that one. We got to check down in the flats, keep running. He did. He came all the way back on that, which is something you'll see in the Oregon game too. I was able to download some highlights from that game because I think it's very important to watch that one in terms of his evaluation because we want to see how guys progress. And we want to see their best game if possible. And that one versus Oregon is. Got a chip by the tight end. And again, the Y lead swing pass. A lot of teams are running this now. Let's watch Bailey here. Deal with that tight end. And he has to come in and maybe get some power. Ball's already out. So he's receiving a lot of attention despite transferring from Stanford. He had a very good year at Stanford that final year. He was able to double his pass rush opportunities with Texas Tech. He went from 192 pass rushes with Stanford that final year to 380, so double his pass rushes. And he went from 39 pressures to 81, so he doubled it. He went from 7 sacks to 15 sacks, so he doubled it. Get off. And did he not bat this one? Did we not get a batted pass on this one, PFF? Did you not grade that? All right, left side. Because they said he didn't have a batted pass in this game. That ball's tipped. For sure it is. Okay. So I can't always trust PFF numbers. That was tipped, no doubt. Maybe batted only works if it's batted and incomplete for them. I guess that wouldn't be shocking, but I mean, we want process over results here. Batting a pass and getting it intercepted, like that could potentially be, is a good thing. Is it okay when I go on football philosophy tangents while we're watching tape? Are you guys cool with that? Because I think watching prospect film does that for me a lot. Where I'm like, but I ideally would like this type of player or these type of situations, or I like when teams do this. And I feel like I've done that in the first 3 episodes so far of what I'm looking for at that position, you know, what I ideally the Bengals could use and would like, things like that. I think that's all part of draft evaluation and talking through the offseason, especially early in the offseason when we are, you know, everything's on the table. Whew, did you see that move there? All right, get your eyes on David Bailey here. He's going to be on the right side, number 31. Watch it. It looks like they leave him unblocked. Yeah. So the quarterback's going to be reading him. He sees right here, potentially 7, the tight end coming across to block him. So he's ready for this. Like, okay, do I got to dip in and take this block? And I wonder if he's faking out the quarterback because the quarterback's reading him. If he dips inside, quarterback is going to keep it. And he tried to throw it out to number 7. So I see. So it's just they're trying to leak the tight end by him. I really like his movement skills there. Let me go to the side angle because I thought it was impressive. Sorry, I went too far back here. But watch him again here. While I was talking, we may have lost him. So if you're not paying attention, eyes up. Arrow. Watch his movement skills here. I mean, I would like that. I don't think Shemar or Murphy have those movement skills. They don't have that agility, right? To where if you're misdirecting, and I think that's a big issue with the Bengals defense in general. I mean, Barrett Carter never did his agilities. He doesn't look the most agile. This has been an issue for them for years. He's spying the quarterback and rolling with the play there. Is they haven't valued the agility portion of the speed and of the athleticism. I think they need to get more agile guys. Again, he's got to worry about the chip help. Wonder if they're going to throw a flag on that. Nope. All right, right side. He's got the tight end over him. Dips around him pretty quickly. All right, next play. Again, he's got the tight end on him again. So a lot of chip help. A lot of extra attention. Stay with it. Stay with it. Keep him in the pocket. And then the guy who was chipping him eventually gets out and catches the pass for the first down. Nice job by the quarterback. Because he's looking like, let me roll to the left. Lee Hunter misses the sack there. Quarterback goes to the right. Finds his open guy. We got a receiver over there holding onto his hammy. All right, Bailey's on the left side. Got a tight end over there. 2 tight ends. Both tight ends are blocking him, and he sheds and discards and helps make the tackle at the point of attack against the run. So we haven't seen the run go at him too many times. And he does a good job discarding both those guys to defend it. This is his best year grading versus the run. I wanted to go back even further. This is his best year grading against the run. He was like in the mid-50s to high 50s. With Stanford, but with Texas Tech, he was, I think, an 80 for PFF. So Right there. You just see him just powering these guys and shoving them out of there, right? Discarding them completely. All right, flip him over to the other side now. Again, he's got a tight end he's got to deal with. Nope, that's a tackle. Sorry. He gets the pressure and forces the sack and pressure from the inside. So this sack starts with David Bailey, ends with the defensive tackles and interior guys. Misses that swipe, right? He wants to hit that outside arm, doesn't get to it, but still is able to turn that. And I've talked about this before. This is a pretty good example, if we can here, of turning that top of the apex, top of the arc into power. And a lot of times that happens when guys bend when they come up on that rip move. So watch him get low on his rip move. Right here, he's going to get low. So you see he's underneath that arm. He's going to lift and power and turn at the same time. You see that? That allows him to still get towards the quarterback, and then everyone else cleans it up. Nothing here, although he discards that guy pretty easily and quickly. 10, the linebacker, almost got another forced fumble there. Pressure, potential hit on the quarterback for Bailey, and we're going to get, it looks like a roughing the passer call on him. So left side here, let's see. Really convert speed to power there. That outside step, when you're an athlete, you can do this. Take that outside step and then burst in. I think sometimes it's harder. Even though we look at power rushers, you got to have that agility to be able to really get the offensive tackle to step outwards. See that foot that stepped out and then come in and turn it into power. Now you've got him. I mean, that's some raw power there. And then the hit on the quarterback, I think just pulling him down is why he must have got the penalty there. Because he probably could have let it go. And there's the forced fumble from 10. I'd like to have that. Watch 10 scrape across. And then punch. Poof. Out of there. Yep. So what are we looking at? Second and goal now. Bailey's on our side. Oh, we got a quick snap. Does not work. Everyone's not ready for the tush push. Looks like the center may have snapped it a little bit too early. Maybe they're trying to get the defense off guard, but your offensive line wasn't ready either. Third and goal now. Bailey's inside, hand in the dirt. Nah, that doesn't look like him to me. It looks like he was on the other side. Definitely looks like he was on the other side to me. This is him right here. They pointed here. He is not there. He is here. So standing up inside. And we're rolling the pocket away for an easy touchdown. It's 16-7. Sun Devils are up on Texas Tech. Another dip move and running around the arc for Bailey. Ball out. Ball. All right, let's watch Bailey right side. Again, tries to ghost move it. Give him the arm and go underneath. I don't know if he's actually ghost moving it. Ghost move was when you actually give it to him and then pull it back. I don't know if he's pulling it back or if he can't reach. But he's getting to this and trying to run around the arc. Still gets a hand on the quarterback. Or on the QB. Man, was that 5 that Peanut punched it? Or was it 9? They go for the ball. A lot. All right, Bailey again. Getting hand on the QB. Pressuring him. Destroying the play. This is like probably the 4th time in this game where he's done that. 2 sacks for himself, 1 sack for the other team, or for his teammates, excuse me. He's on the right side here. He's got to deal with the tight end, so he's got to dip inside here. They're leaving him unblocked, trying to pull the guard. He is too fast to pull the guard over and try and get him with that. He misses that. Lee Hunter's trying to track him down. Ends up being a gain of a couple. Yeah, you're going to pull the left guard over and try and block Bailey. Good luck with that. Spin move again. I mean, we're pulling off moves here, whether he's dipping around the corner, whether he's converting speed to power with a hesitation step, or if he's doing the spin move for the third time here. I mean, he is winning with those. That guy got thrown out of the club just trying to stay with Bailey. You want to see the moves affect and land with high efficiency and a high rate, right? And I think we're seeing that with Bailey. I think tight ends are struggling to get hands on him, as we saw right there. Which, again, you want to see. Tight ends are going to block edge guys. We always say, why'd you block him with a tight end? Once he gets a sack, but it's got to happen once in a while. There's Bailey against the run. You're going to get involved with the into the tackle here. Let's see. I want to see vision. Yeah, there you go. Discard that guy a little bit. Throw him inside. He's got to get that hand off him. You see the hands right around his collar. There you go. Got it off. There you go. And pinning it onto the tackle. You see what I'm saying here? That's very nice. The hand was here and around his neck. He grabbed the wrist, and now he's got his hand pinned against himself. So he's like this, offensive tackle. So I like slowing it down and seeing what's going on here. Yes, full control. Discard him. Make the tackle. That's a good job. All while keeping his eyes on the running back. Whew. Again, he dipped around. Watch the hustle and effort on this thing, man. He dips around this tackle really quickly. The tackle's trying to block inside. Gets the run, goes inside. It's an RPO play for the quarterback. Almost gets in the range of batting that ball down. Then he peels back to come make the tackle. Don't know if we're calling this a win or not. Let's see this one on Bailey's going to be on the right side here when we flip this camera around. Right side here. You see him getting springy and then coming around this edge. Going with the long arm here. Lands it. So this is the first time he lands it. Now let's see here. Good pause again. I score myself on my pausing ability. I think we've had a good day today. Now let's lift that hand out of there, and you should be able to turn this corner pretty well. Let's see it. I don't think he could. Yep, he couldn't, and then he goes for the rip. By then, he's already past the quarterback, so the quarterback did a good job. Hey, we're knocking that ball out. Was that 10 again? We are going for the ball. Maybe we do want him. Maybe we do want a linebacker. Run goes away from Bailey here. We're in the fourth quarter now. 10 again, getting there at linebacker. Dude just might be a stud. Quick slant, ball out. Not much for Bailey there. It looks like he tried to go with the power move that time from our right side here. Spin move again. Beats the tackle again with it. Guard picks it up. Right side. Oh, yeah. Hey, that spin move was really effective for him, isn't it? Oh, man. This almost turned into a huge run. Away from Bailey, away from Lee Hunter. Not much for us there, although Lee Hunter there was that was 5 that just hit the hip and put the running back off balance. Cut block, spins off it. Now you got to get the backside. I like the effort. I like the hustle for Bailey here. He's going to get the cut block. Got to stay on your feet, turn around, spin. Stay with the running back now. Good hit, 13. Jeez. Texas Tech is hitting. Is this the game they must lose? I mean, this is a team that gets into the playoffs and wins a game, right? I don't know if Bailey saw this correctly. It looks like we're reading him. The quarterback's reading him left side. He's the unblocked guy. Either he or 13 have to play the quarterback. Neither of them do. Yeah, it's 19-7. Texas Tech needs to stop here. Dips inside this tackle really easily. Again, even on plays where he doesn't actually have a chance to affect the quarterback, does he look like he's an athlete on a different level than these guys trying to block him? And I would say he does. I'd say he plays with a pretty good intensity. He's advanced with his moves. Oh, falling a little bit at the snap. It doesn't look like they threw a flag. So let's evaluate this play then. He's falling a little bit here as he's trying to get lower. Good. The tackle gets out and jumps on him. Really knocks him off balance there. Probably because he's off balance a little bit. Yeah, number 10 and 13 at linebacker. They're all over the place. Is 13 draft eligible too? Oh, my God, pass interference. He was tackling him. Nope. They're letting him play. Seatbelt on. Yeah, converting that speed to power again for Bailey. Powerful. If he's 250, you get him to 260, that power is going to be crazy. He converts his speed to power really, really well. Not everyone does. And again, I think you have to land your hands pretty well, and I think he does. You have to, there he is trying to go with power there, not as successful there. You have to have that agility to get these guys off balance. 10 is just make him play. Look at him. He tried to one-hand that thing midair. Yep, I like the intensity. You're the unblocked guy once you're sure the quarterback doesn't have it. Right side. Once he's sure the quarterback doesn't have the ball, watch him here. Okay, now dive inside. Come help make this play. Very aware player. I think the three guys we watched so far, I wouldn't be surprised if none of them are there at 10. There we go. We're running the arc. We got a winner on the arc. And I think this is a Lee Hunter sack because of it. Bailey's forcing this guy to step up. All right, we're going to start with Bailey, and we'll get back to Hunter, see if he made the play here. Start with Bailey. He's going to vertically up the field. Misses again here with this. He's missed on. That's really the move he's missed on the most, is he's trying to chop, or that he may have short arms because of it. But he dips around this corner really, really well. And this is a guy with a thin lower half. Man, I think you can provide some more balance with a little bit more power on his base. All right, let's go back to Lee Hunter now. Number 2, I want to say he's at the nose spot. So let me circle him since we haven't focused on him. He collects the sack. Let's see if this is a high-quality win or not for him. Projected to be a second-round pick. It's okay. It's okay. Again, he's an odd body and an odd athlete whenever I've seen him. So his wins may just look like that, or it doesn't look like he's doing much. You know who was like that last year in a lot of ways? Deion Walker. Deion Walker had an odd body, but you could tell he was athletic because he keeps winning. So he's got to be athletic. I think that's a thing we kind of overlook. Sometimes we get surprised by these guys. Like, man, he tested really well. I didn't expect to see that. Really, because when you put on the tape, he was winning an awful lot. And a lot of times in college, that just comes down to being a great athlete. Texas Tech now has the lead. So whatever happened on offense, it is 22-19. We need a stop from the defense. This is fun. I like watching defense when you need a stop at the end. Bailey on the left side. No tight end help anymore. Trying to run this arc while these guys inside are blitzing, it looked like, so he's got to stay to the outside. Let's get him a chance here. We got a tight end on the side again. Deal with that. Come inside. Ends up getting the pressure on the QB, although the quarterback was going to throw it anyway. Watch him loop all the way back inside. We haven't seen too many stunts and loops with him. He's had a lot of free, straight-up you-rush opportunities. Despite the extra attention, though, that's the only thing that has limited his rush opportunities is a lot of chip help. He doesn't have anyone on his side this time. He's going to go against the guard, dips around the guard, and we got a completed pass just short of the first down. Let's watch Bailey here. He's on the left side, going to go in. You can already see him starting to dip inside. Going to go against the right guard and dips around that right guard really nicely. Stays on his feet through contact and gets a hand on the quarterback. I would call that a pressure. It's a win, pass rush win for sure. All right, he's going against the left tackle this time. Try to spin. He was potentially offsides again. He's falling right at the snap. He would have a better get off if he wasn't. He's trying to like time it, I think, and get down into a stance right at the snap so he can burst out of it. But I think you can, again, strengthen those legs up, get them a little bit bigger, give yourself better balance, and you can get down, sink into it, and explode out of it. And you don't have to time it as much. Nice play by the QB. Watch how he really faked the linebacker or whoever that was in the second level. Watch this. Right here, number 9's like, oh, he's going to run for sure. And then he just pulls it up and hits his running back. Or that dude's big, so I don't know, maybe tight end. It's an open receiver. All right, Bailey, we need to stop. Goes on an inside move. Ball's out on time. Good throw for about 9. I've been impressed with this quarterback on quite a few throws. Is he a guy? Is he a dude? Can anyone let me know? Is he like a future dude? Jaden Daniels was at Arizona State right before he went to LSU. So they get guys once in a while. Tries to run the arc there. We got flags. Tries to run the arc here, left side Bailey. And we got a blitz up the middle for 10. Who's going to get in the face of the QB? All right, 19-22, 46 seconds left. Bailey's inside, hardcore this time. They're expecting the inside QB sneak. Texas Tech is going to try to stop him. They do. No help to Bailey there. He dove inside, and everyone else is scraping over the top. So by design, but Bailey doesn't get involved with it. It's 10 and 13 again, and 7. A couple other guys. All right, 38 seconds. Clock's ticking. They're getting in there again. Bailey's getting down in a 3-point stance this time. Pitch is going away from them, and oh, they got it. So I don't know if they're going to lose this game. I'm never going to get the answer. You guys Google it. Let me know. Does Texas Tech lose this game? If you're still watching at this point, I appreciate you. We got one more video here that I got lined up for you. All right, David Bailey, left side there. This video is courtesy of Jordan Reed, my buddy who I've done a few projects with, but now works for ESPN, so he cut this up. He had access to the tape. And I'm just going to let it roll because I eventually want to do the full game of Oregon. But watch him here. Watch him dip around these guys. Watch him win easily. And this is Oregon, right? This is a good team. He looked like he was at another level in this game of dipping around these edges and just looking like a guy that is very hard to block. Look at the power coming off that edge. You see that? I mean, he is violent with his hands here. He's got very strong hands when he goes to tackle. He's got very strong hands when he's shedding these guys, dipping around these guys quickly. I mean, come on. We're going to do the full game if David Bailey looks like he could potentially be the pick. So I'm just going to give you the quick one here. This is just a couple-minute video where I thought he had his best game against the run, too. Look at he string these guys out, throw guys off of them. We normally don't do the highlights, but since I don't have access to this film completely and able to put it on the Bengals on the Brain here, we use the resources we do have here. And watch him run and hawk this thing down from behind. Yeah, I was so impressed with Bailey in this game. Like, just off this game alone, I was like, oh, yeah, I would take him at 10. I broke him down for subscribers. Broke this game down for subscribers in depth. So I didn't want to do that twice again. But, yeah, there's a batted ball there. Did you see that? Watch the athleticism. Springy on this thing, man. It's a great game by Bailey. So if you stayed this long and watched all that, because we got a long episode today, I think we need to be aware of David Bailey, because why would he be available at pick 10? It looks really good right there, right? And some of those games, some of his better games are against Houston and Kansas, which are absolutely crazy, but, you know, level of competition, whatever. If he's there, it's because he's 23 years old. And if there's a reason the Bengals aren't as interested, it's because he's 23 years old already. And you may say, well, no, it's because he's small. No, I'm not so sure. The last 23-year-old that they drafted was Joe Burrow, of course. But before that was William Jackson in the first round. And I know they took Demetrius Knight in round 2. It's part of why I think their process stinks, because they have no consistency. They have no hard rules and edges. But when you look at who was the prospects available of their top 5 last year when they're getting to their pick, all were 21-year-olds. In the past, it's been all 21, 22-year-olds. They want the young guys. And you may say, well, that's been taking these guys 2, 3, 4 years to develop and before they can make an impact. Maybe we should take a 23-year-old. You're right. Maybe they should, because David Bailey looks ready. Jared Verse was a 23-year-old and showed that power and that pop. And it may have been the reason the Bengals weren't as high on Jared Verse. But you know what? Maybe it's time to do that. And in this class, and with the NIL changing the landscape of college football, you look at these guys and you're going to have to draft older players. It's going to be part of the process. The game keeps changing in the NFL. The draft keeps changing. The data keeps changing. It's why you can never be 100% certain of anything, and you got to have an open mind. The Bengals need that as well. And when you look, though, I will say, when you look at the top 20 prospects in this draft class as where they're ranked right now in the consensus, 15 of them are 21-year-olds. There's going to be a handful of guys, and I think Bailey is going to be one of them, that's going to go in the top 12 or so. That is going to be 23. So, you know what? It may be a knock for the Bengals, but maybe it shouldn't. The next guy we're going to watch, hopefully, is Ruben Bain. Hopefully I have good games and good tape to watch of him. I think we do. Hopefully we get this last championship game, or maybe we save that for the future. That'll be on the next episode of Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. Until next time, Hoo day.